Hello everybody, Big Gold Truck checking in. So while I wait over here for somebody that's looking to buy one of my wholesale deals, I thought I should talk about something, and I brainstormed some topics the last minute, and I think a good topic that I should talk about is wholesaling a property versus double closing on a property. Many of you guys probably have never heard of the term double closing. Many of you guys have probably heard a lot about wholesaling. Double closing is just like wholesaling, but it's just a more discreet way of wholesaling. So let me explain. Basically, wholesaling real estate, which is very popular in the United States, it's basically finding a wedge deal. Wedge deal meaning a deal with a deep discount, finding a situation where somebody needs to sell their property and you can pick it up with a lot of equity in it, usually 50-60%. You can pick up for example, $100,000 property for $50,000 or $60,000. So that would be a wholesale type deal. And when you wholesale the deal, you basically, tell the seller, hey, I'm looking to buy this property. I'll pay you $50,000 for it or $60,000 for it, and they accept your offer. So you literally make an offer and write it up and send it to them, and they accept the offer, and now you have the deal under contract, right? But in the contract, you make that contract assignable. So basically, you have the right to buy the property within a certain amount of time, and you also have the right to assign the property within a certain amount of time, dictated on the contract. So then what you do is, once you have it under contract, you start looking for buyers, and you advertise to your buyers list and some friends and family, whoever might be interested in this property. If the numbers are good, you're always going to find a buyer. A lot of people complain that, oh, you can't find deals and it's so hard to find deals. Man, I've never had a problem with finding deals. I've been doing this for 4 years now. And on the other hand, a lot of people say it's hard to find a buyer, which is also not true, because if the numbers are good, everybody's out there to make money. So if the numbers are good, someone will buy your property, will buy your deal, will buy your contract. So so you put the property in the contract, then you advertise the contract and say, hey guys, I have this property, it's worth $100,000. I have it under contract for $60,000. And it's I want a $5,000 fee, so all in you'll be at 65, and you make a $35,000 profit, assuming no work needed. I'm just talking about easy numbers, and anybody would happily buy that property from you. So that's how you assign your contract, right? And you get paid at closings. Closing, everybody gets paid at closing. The house becomes the buyer's house at closing. Now, on the other hand, is double closing, right? Double closing is what I do when I'm making like a significant amount of a fee. It's happened to me before, and it's happened to a lot of people before, where we'll pick up like a $200,000 property, just to work with bigger numbers, $200,000 property, and we'll pick it up for like $70,000, and we're trying to make a $50,000 assignment fee. So we're trying to sell it for $120,000, which they will happily take if it was on the market or whatever. But with wholesaling or with assigning a contract, when you come to the closing table, they can see the contract. It says he has it, Vic Gotra has it under contract for $70,000, and he's selling it to me for $120,000. Vic Gotra is making $50,000. Hell no! And they walk away from the closing table. $120,000 was perfect for them before, but when they found out that I'm making $50,000 on the deal, it all of a sudden became no bueno. Not a good deal anymore. So I would highly recommend to do a double close at that time. And a double close basically means you put the property under contract, and then you advertise just like you would on a wholesale deal, and then you find a buyer, and then you have your separate, like your own contract with the seller. With the buyer. So you have contract A with you and the seller, then you have contract B with you and the buyer. On double closing is basically doing two closings on the same table. You need to get like a creative attorney or an attorney that works with investors that's okay with doing creative deals. Then it's pretty simple to do, but it's still good to have somebody that's that's open-minded. So basically, at closing, your end buyer will put the money in the escrow, $120,000. So with that $120,000, your attorney will first close the contract number A, or letter A, with you and the buyer, and then so that'll be one closing. And with the other, so now you've bought the property for a minute, right? For $70,000, and then on the same table you've sold it to the buyer for 120. Nobody really sees this happening. It's the attorney that's doing everything, and it happens pretty cleanliness. But just for conversation's sake, that's basically how it happens. And now you made $50,000, and nobody was pissed off, and everybody's happy. The seller got what he wanted, the buyer got what he wanted, and you got what he wanted. But I promise you, when somebody finds out that you're making $50,000, all of a sudden the bargaining game is going to start, or they're going to walk away from the deal. It's just part of the business. It's happened before to me a couple times, and so I always say that if you're making more than $10,000, you should always double close. Which is what I'm going to do with this deal. I'm going to double close on this deal, just to keep it clean, and no interruptions at the closing table. If you guys have any questions about wholesaling property in the United States, or finding wedge deals, finding discounted deals, they're all out there. No matter if it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, if the market's going up or if the market's going down, people are always going to be buying real estate. People are always going to be selling real estate. It's just you just need to know what you're doing, how you're doing, have the right people around you, and being willing to work, and being willing to be creative, and learning